Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll take a look at a new report on child neglect in the state. Also tonight, Superintendent of Public Instruction Diane Douglas talks about her new education plan, and we'll learn how underwater hockey is played. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Business leaders, including the Arizona and Phoenix Chambers of Commerce, filed a lawsuit today to block the state's minimum wage increase from taking effect. Voters last month approved an increase to $10 an hour in January, with increases to $12 an hour by 2020. The lawsuit claims that those increases violate the state's constitution because they create new spending by the state without providing a revenue source. Proponents of Prop 206, the minimum wage issue, they say that the suit is without merit and an attempt to undo the will of the voters. State's unemployment rate is at an 8-year low. The Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity reports that the state's jobless rate was at 5% in November. That's down 0.2% from October. It's still higher than the national rate, which is at 4.6%. The biggest job gains in Arizona, they were in trade, transportation, and utilities, while construction saw the biggest loss in jobs. And U.S. Secretary of Education John King appeared today at Phoenix College and at ASU's downtown campus. King is on his Opportunities Across America tour, which promotes educational achievements under the Obama administration. It also urges lawmakers to continue those gains. Included in today's event, a roundtable with high school students and Latino civil rights leaders.
It's important for the students and families who are benefiting from DACA to tell their story, to make sure that there's broad public understanding of the difference DACA is making. These are students who went to K through 12 education here in many cases from the entirety of their K through 12 experience. Their students who are going to stay here, and we all have a stake in their long-term success. It's better for the economy.
King will wind up his tour with stops in New Mexico and Connecticut. New report is out on childhood neglect in Arizona. The report is titled The Neglect of Neglect, and it's a joint effort between the State Department of Child Safety and ASU's Morrison Institute for Public Policy, funded by the Arizona Community Foundation. Joining us now is Morrison Institute Director Tom Riley and Catherine Guffey, Chief Quality Improvement Officer at the State Department of Child Safety. Good to have you both here. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is a 3-year project kind of focusing on child neglect. Let's focus on a definition. What is child neglect as opposed to abuse?
Catherine, you want to take that?
Well, let's start with you.
When most people look at child welfare and child protective services, they think of an abused child. But in reality, is the majority of kids that are coming in to the system, and as Catherine was just saying earlier, about 70% of all calls coming in the hotline, about 78% of all kids who enter the system actually come in for a neglect-related issue. And neglect can have various different components. It could be physical neglect, medical neglect, emotional neglect. It could have a supervisory component of it.
And that confuses people sometimes, doesn't it? Because most people think of child abuse, not so much child neglect.
Right. I think that the cases that get us more attention in the media in particular tend to be some very serious cases of physical abuse that are more visible, I think, to the public, whereas neglect sometimes is something that occurs chronically over a longer period of time. It may not be as obvious to somebody, a school teacher or some other person in the community.
Is it tough to differentiate the different kinds of neglect?
It is. One of the reasons that we're excited to be working with Morrison Institute is to gather some more information about the prevalence of different types of neglect in Arizona. As Tom was saying, there are, medical neglect, supervisory neglect. There are situations where parents allow children to remain in dangerous situations. Maybe the home has health hazards that create a safety threat to a child. So there are many types of neglect, and although we know how many reports we receive are neglect reports, we could benefit from some more knowledge about the prevalence of those different types of neglect here in Arizona.
And in order to get more knowledge, you do studies. That's what the Morrison Institute does. Talk about what you researched and what you found.
And what we're doing. So when the Arizona Community Foundation came to us, because child welfare has been in the headlines for a considerable amount of time, there's been a large number of children removed. They ask, what can you do? And that we met with the Department of Child Safety, Catherine and her team, to ask where could we add most value. And one of their strategic areas focuses on the issue of prevention and neglect. But there's been some barriers to furthering that conversation. One is, what is a common definition of prevention that advocates to courts and the system have? What type of neglects, as we talked about right now? And part of what we're doing is that we're looking over the last 3 to 5 years to actually break down and review the cases so we have an accurate percent of the type of kids coming in under those different categories. And then the other question is that who's actually providing prevention? You know, when we think of an abused child, many times if something happens, we point our fingers at the department responsible for child protective services. But you know, protecting children is a community-wide effort, and prevention is done between state, nonprofit, and faith-based groups.
So as far as the information that you'd like to see or that you would need to see, what is that, and how are we going about with this project, this 3-year project, to get that information to you?
So we'll be providing information to the Morrison Institute to allow them to review some narrative information in cases and start to categorize those cases by the type of neglect situation and also some of the characteristics of the families involved in that, as well as the outcomes. Were there repeated reports involving that family? Was there a removal of the child? And how did those the families with repeated reports or removals differ from those who did not? And the purpose of this, I think, is to have a well-informed and purposeful discussion about what services we can provide in the community to prevent neglect, so that we can prevent additional harm to children and prevent removal, and even a call to DCS at all.
I was going to say the prevention aspect of this is huge. What's out there now, and what can you help with your research to kind of jumpstart some other programs?
Good question. And you know, part of the gift and grant that we received from the Arizona Community Foundation allows us to look and bring in the best experts nationally, from practitioners and academics, and research what are the best programs out there to prevent. And part of the identifying the different categories really helps us to target limited prevention monies around those. And so we're able to bring in some of the national experts, convene this group of key policymakers, those policymakers that can make the decisions, and then have this group develop Arizona-specific solutions to try to prevent the number of kids coming in the system and keep children safe in their homes.
It sounds like public, private, nonprofit, faith-based, the whole 9 yards here, huh?
Yes, it's exciting.
And how important is that to have that collaboration?
It's extremely important. As Tom was saying, this is a community-wide problem and it requires a community-wide response. DCS is just one part of a wide network of private and public agencies that work with families and provide prevention services. So we think that this information is going to help us to determine how can that network best provide services that are effective to the unique needs of families in Arizona, and help us determine who provides what services.
Is there an almost hope for surprises out there? Hope for the kind of information that maybe goes against the grain or against conventional wisdom?
I don't know about surprises, but I think that it's important for us to know specifically what the population is in Arizona that needs prevention services so that we can design those services for their individual needs.
Yeah, and you were involved in child services in Nevada, correct?
I was, yeah. I used to run the child welfare system in Nevada. So, started out as a child protective service worker and became an administrator. So child welfare is something I've been involved with for a long period of time.
So with this project, this is a 3-year project again, and the goal again is to reduce the number of Arizona kids in foster care. From what you saw in Nevada, from what you're seeing here, what are you seeing?
Well, this is the right approach. I mean, as Catherine said, is that you have to bring all the stakeholders together. One of the things we're looking at is that what are the gaps? Who's providing and who's not providing services? And then what is our definition? And then part of that is tracking budget dollars and revenues to see who's being funded to do what, so we have a clearer picture and a clearer landscape. And then we can look at some of the programs that are working really well in Arizona, evidence-based programs that have results, pull in national folks. Some states are doing a pretty remarkable job at preventing kids from coming in the system and keeping kids safe. Bringing those practitioners and policymakers here, through the grant of the Arizona Community Foundation, allow us to kind of bring that type of dialogue to a group of key policymakers.
I was going to say this program will include best practices, correct? I mean, seeing what's going on in other states and what's working and what's not.
Yes, absolutely. We want to look at what's occurring in other states, both in terms of what programs are being provided and who provides those, what part of the community network provides those services.
So where does the information go? Once we get the information coalesced and once everyone kind of gets all the charts and graphs and everything go, where does it go from there?
Well, we will be holding these leadership forums with stakeholders to discuss the information and have that try to reach some decisions, explore some of those programs that we might bring to Arizona or expand in Arizona.
Leadership forums, how often?
Probably
Who's
quarterly,
involved?
but we're going to have the key people there from the Department of Child Safety, judges, from the district attorney, from key legislators. So those people that can actually make the changes. And so what we hope is that through this evidence and dialogue, and specific evidence on Arizona issues, we can actually come up with some actionable plans, whether that's policy, legislative, or actually implementation of programs.
But the important aspect of all of this is getting the right ears to hear the information and the right eyes to see it. I mean, how you go about doing that?
Well, part of that is keeping the awareness out there and talking. Part of the first release of this white paper was just to kind of put a different picture about what is child abuse and neglect. It's not just that child, as tragic it is of being abused, is that the majority of kids deal with neglect. And what's tied into neglect is poverty. And so a lot of the issues and a lot of the targets to ensure that we keep kids safe also addresses this very larger intractable issue of poverty.
All right, real quickly, the first report, first feedback, what are we looking at here?
So we got the first report released today. We hope to convene. We're doing the analysis of cases. I think we're doing 5 years analysis of 90,000 cases to actually look at those different categories. And so we're hoping by March or so to convene the first meeting.
All right, very good. We'll try to get you back then. Good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Arizona Superintendent of Public Instruction Diane Douglas recently unveiled a new education plan that includes additional money for teachers, buses, and school repairs. We spoke with Superintendent Douglas about her ideas. Thank you so much for joining us on Arizona Horizon.
Ted, I'm so glad to be back again. And I brought you a present.
Oh, goody.
I brought you a copy of Arizona Kids Can't Wait.
All right. And again, let's get right to this report. Arizona Kids Can't Wait. What are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at a comprehensive plan for education. To my knowledge, no superintendent has ever put ideas on paper before. And this is a culmination of 2 years of our We Are Listening tour, going out across Arizona, listening to what Arizonans have to say. One of my most deeply held beliefs is that our education system belongs to all of us. So we all need to have input into it.
Now, this is the second year for this kind of a report. All right, how does this report differ from last year's?
Well, one of the things some of the ideas we've improved upon, this one is in actually 3 separate sections. Some new ideas, new proposals, particularly funding proposals. We give an update on what we've accomplished from the previous year's plan, and we tell people about things that are still in the works.
I know funding is a big aspect of Arizona Kids Can't Wait. The report gives schools $680 million, including $200 million for what? For the schools to do with as they see fit?
As their locally elected school boards and their constituents that they serve see fit. We've heard of a couple of big needs, obviously. The passing of Prop 206 is going to have a huge impact on our schools, raising the minimum wage. The board I was on, Peoria, they told me it'll be in excess of $1 million, and that's just bringing the minimum wage up, not if you look at the cascading effect that it would have on the next level salary, to bring equity. We know that there are a lot of school districts that are providing all-day kindergarten, and yet there's no funding attached to it.
All right, so that's $200 million there. We've got another 140 million, some odd million here, to boost teacher salaries by 5%. I thought Prop 123 was supposed to address that.
Well, Prop 123 does to a degree. That's some money that the school districts were due for the past Prop 301 lawsuit settlement. It's not a mandate in Prop 123 that money goes to classroom teachers. I'm encouraging school boards all across the state to get as much of it as possible to their classroom, but that did come without any expectation. So we have heard all across Arizona, north, south, east, west, urban, suburban, rural, wherever, we want our teachers paid better.
You're hearing that, and we had Prop 123, and yet salaries, especially I would imagine on the west side of the state where California rears its head right across the border, and better salaries there. Are we getting there with better salaries?
You know, there's no one right answer to that, because in Arizona, every school district can set its own salary scale. So we certainly encourage them with Prop 123 to get that money into the classroom to their teachers. And certainly this would be for classroom teachers.
$280 million for capital funding needs. What exactly are those?
Particularly, we're thinking about School Facility Board, which has not been funded since, really appropriately, since the recession. We realized there were a couple of issues as we took a look at those numbers. Since 2007, when you think of building deficiencies, there's only been $1 million put in that fund for all of the schools in Arizona. My goodness, one good hailstorm down in Safford more than took care of that. And we know that the arrangement, for lack of a better word, with Roosevelt v. Bishop was that the state maintain the schools and build the schools, and yet we have local districts going out for bonds because they're not getting the money to maintain their schools. So
$280 million.
needs to be addressed.
Yes, needs to be addressed, apparently so. $60 million for rural transportation. You're talking buses here, aren't you? Mm-hmm. $60 million, we're $60 million down in terms of buses?
Well, actually, it's $20 million for rural transportation to give them a weight. I mean, one of the things that struck me as I traveled all around Arizona, both campaigning for this office and on the listening tour, was how very different the needs are. And to be up on the Navajo Nation and see pictures of buses that are up to their axles in mud because they travel on unpaved roads and for hours, the mileage is just amazing, the difference that it makes.
I would imagine everyone would agree that these are needs that need to be addressed. They see $680 million, and the first question is, where's that money coming from?
Well, it'll be a robust discussion, no doubt about it. We made some recommendations. We know that revenues are coming in higher. We know there's carryover budget. We do have some money in the rainy day fund. Not that I'm a proponent of draining the rainy day fund by any stretch of the imagination, but we need to look at some of the most urgent needs and consider how we put that mix together. I'm advocacy, not appropriations.
Yes, well, how will you advocate to the legislature that this needs to get, how will you advocate to the governor?
I will be having meetings. We've already started meetings with the legislators and the new ones that will be coming in. Glad to look forward and meet them.
What kind of response have you had so far?
We've had some pretty positive response. You know, the numbers are daunting. I think that's fair to say. But these are issues that need to be addressed, you know, in some mix of it. The one I think I'm particularly passionate about is the School Facilities Board. You know, our schools have to be safe. We resolved this issue in either the early or the mid-90s. I don't remember exactly when that lawsuit was. It's very important that our schools be maintained and that commitment kept.
We are all kind of waiting for the governor's second step on funding. You have any idea of what that second step could be and when the step will be taken?
Well, it could be. Arizona kids
Yes, it
can't
could
wait.
be. Yes, you could present him with the same copy you presented me. But let's try, let's put maybe a little finer point on it here. What would you like to see as that second step?
I would like to see some of the issues on this list. Actually, if I had to pick and choose from this list, I don't think I would take anyone off of it. Which need do you think doesn't need to be met that's on this list? It might be more a matter of proportion.
For critics who say that the legislature and to a certain respect the governor seem more interested in private school funding and getting funding to private schools, even to private charters, these sorts of things, as opposed to, we're 48th in per pupil spending here. When is that going to change? And do they have a point? Is there a lack of will to get funding to public schools?
Well, I can't speak to other people's motivation. It wouldn't be fair. But I am a huge proponent of parental choice. I believe that God gives children to parents, not to government bureaucracies, no matter how well intended the government bureaucracy is. So parents have to make the educational choices for their children. But if we don't support our traditional public schools, we're taking a huge choice away from parents. 85% of our children still go to traditional district schools.
I was going to say, the choice is there, and so many still choose those traditional schools.
Right, they like their neighborhood schools, they like the community around them. There may be as many different reasons as there are parents. So that brings us to maybe another idea in the plan.
Yeah.
One of the things we want to do is create a new report card system that will not just emphasize test results, but will allow schools and districts to put in it all the other different things they have to offer parents. As we talked to parents, some of the things that were important to them were, is there a STEM program on the campus? Is the arts and music, are they provided on the campus? What's your school safety look like? Oh my gosh, the list just went on and on. Do you offer extracurricular activities? What about a school nurse? To a parent whose child has health needs, that's a very important thing they might look into when they make that choice.
All right, well, we have a lot of things on the list. We have $680 million topping that list. We'll see how far that goes. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
It's so nice. Thank you so much for having me.
We want to hear from you. Submit your questions, comments, and concerns via email at arizonahorizon@asu.edu.
Hockey is a growing sport across the valley, so much so that Phoenix has an underwater hockey club, with one of its members representing the U.S. on the World Hockey Team. Producer Ao Gao went underwater to see how the puck plays 7 feet deep.
Definitely, it is a great conversation starter. Anytime I tell someone I play underwater hockey, they want to know more. It's never like, oh yeah, I know that, or I did that when I was a kid. Start! Tips up! Underwater hockey is played 6-on-6. It's played at the bottom of a 7 to 9 foot pool, and you take turns holding your breath, diving down, and trying to push a puck either to a teammate or into the goal to score.
The game system itself and everyone in it, and the 3D aspect of our court.
So you have players coming from your left and right, but of course they can come from above and underneath you as well. It's really an interesting mental game because when you dive down to get involved in the play, your brain is often telling you that you're running out of air and that you need to breathe. But really it's about staying focused on the play and getting the puck into the goal. On the road up to Worlds, I was working out a lot. And I hadn't trained that hard before for anything. It was all the free time, Friday night, Saturday mornings. It was hitting the pool, trying to convince other members from the Phoenix team to help me practice and keep me motivated.
When you're in the water, in between points, she's someone that will pull you aside and talk to you about what she noticed. I saw you did this and that. Have you considered making these adjustments?
All size is an advantage. The water's a great equalizer. So we have men and women play together. But there is something special about playing on an all-women's team, like at Worlds. So another great thing about this sport is that the The underwater hockey community is really amazing. Everyone is really competitive in the water. They want to win the games, they want to score the goals, but outside the water, it's like a big extended family all around the world.
The Phoenix underwater hockey team welcomes those who want to learn the sport. You can drop into their Thursday evening practices at the Mona Plummer Aquatic Center in Tempe. Friday on Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalists Roundtable. Business leaders file suit to block a recent voter-approved increase to the state's minimum wage, and the governor's coalition of education experts falls short with reforms. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thanks for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.